4 o'clock straight up down. We'll call the meeting to order. Before we go to the roll call, John, welcome to the board. We're glad to have you.
Thank you. Look forward to working with you.
Carolyn, you're not new. Okay, Mike, roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Anderson,
Here.
Mr. Driver,
Here.
Mr. Harbsmeyer sent us an email saying that he could not make it this afternoon. Mr. Harris?
Here.
Mr. Isbell?
Here.
Mr. McInnes?
Here.
Mr. Schaefer?
Here.
Ms. Templeton?
Here.
All right, you have a quorum, sir.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, Mike emailed us the agenda a little earlier. Do I hear a motion for the approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Buddy and Ben. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, thank you. Citizens or delegations presentations? Anybody want to say anything? You sure she don't want to say anything? Thank you. Okay, now the minutes, we'll also email those. Do I hear a motion for approval of the minutes?
Motion.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Archie. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And this brings me great pleasure. Financial report, Carolyn?
Okay, well, if you look, we're on track with everything. However, are in the process, and we were before Mr. Kemp left, of moving the account to Volunteer State Bank because we can get more interest. Okay, so in doing that, we were having to leave enough in the other, in Simmons Bank over here, till we're sure that all the automatic deposits are cleared out before we can transfer it out. So you'll see on here where we moved $2,200,000 to Volunteer State Bank. We had one little snafu. Our account got compromised for almost $13,000.
Wow.
A check that we had not had clear, apparently somebody got it, they duplicated it, and they wrote one for $6,000 and something and another one for $6,000. The bank took care of it. The money was back in there within a couple of days, but don't know how it was made out to an individual. But anyway, so you can see on here where in Simmons Bank we've got $644,000. In Volunteer State Bank we've got $2,290,000, and the investment pool $748,000, total $3,593,000.
Give me more balance sheets, Ms. Carolyn.
Here's some, there's all kinds.
We got it.
Small right there.
You got it. Okay, anybody have any questions for Miss Carolyn?
Make a motion, so.
Thank you, Buddy.
Second.
Thank you, Ben. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, thank you. Okay, Mike.
All right. So at our last meeting, I believe, you approved up to $275,000 for new radios for the Hendersonville site, which would make that site independent. We put that out for bid. Comtech came back at $273,062.54, so obviously they won the bid, and they have already started to do some maintenance on that down there as well. They've already begun to strip the tower of the old antennas and started to install some new antennas down there. They did say that because of everything else being short, or all the products being short, the equipment being short, there is a delay in getting the radios in that they have ordered. So they have been ordered, but the order's been placed, and so hopefully we will have some new radios down at the Hendersonville site to make that site completely independent of our main site. We had our new Eventide recorder installed. I think that went live on August the 2nd. That came back under budget also at $85,000. So now we have new recorders at the main site and Hendersonville site as well. And from what I understand, they're working pretty well and have a few extra features from the previous recorder. But if Ms. Davis or Ms. Simpson want to comment on that, then certainly welcome those. Central Square arrived today to start working on the new phones for our hardware refresh. Much of the CAD equipment and other servers had been installed a few months ago, Now they're on site to start working on the telephones, so hopefully, combined with some cooperation from AT&T, the phones should be up and running hopefully next month. That's the plan as of right now. I think I told you last meeting, we were updating our city boundaries. We sent a request to every city within the county to find out, hey, what is your latest data on your exact city boundaries? Because we wanted to make sure that our maps were up to date with those city boundaries. Once we compared those, we sent out our existing map and the updated map to every law enforcement, fire, chief within the county, said, hey, take a look at these, compare them. If you see any issues, call us back and let us know. And everybody they either didn't respond or they responded and say, yes, that looks good. So we gave them about 3 weeks before we made those changes, and we've updated our maps. So every city boundary within the county should be up to date. Last month, I was appointed to the policy committee with the Tennessee Emergency Communications Board, which I certainly appreciate that. That's a 3-year term that I will serve on, at least for the next 3 years. And I think that's all for my report, sir.
Congratulations on your appointment.
Thank you, sir.
Mike.
Thank you.
Is the Hendersonville site, we got what we need there now, pretty much?
We do, except for the radios, but I think everything else should be in line with what we need to be independent. And of course, with the refresh also, we've been talking about that during the refresh, that also should help to make this completely independent of our main site. So if the main site goes down, then we can still have the backup site ready to go. But again, that's going to be post-refresh. So
Gotcha.
hopefully by the end of the year, let's keep our fingers crossed, get all the radios in, and yes, we should be independent.
Hey, Michael.
Yes, sir.
Those radios, are those the same radio system that the county's using?
That's
Okay.
correct.
So it's all integrated together?
Yes, sir. All Kenwood radios, it's
Okay.
the exact same thing as what's in the ECC now, so. yes, sir.
Excellent, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions for Mike? All right, thank you. Okay, Mr. Isbell, County Mayor's report.
No report from me.
Oh, that's what we like. Okay, Ms. Davis.
Good afternoon. Since the last meeting, our staffing has maintained at around 10 vacancies. We have 4, potentially 5 individuals scheduled to start within the next couple of weeks to bring that number down to hopefully 5 or 6 shortages. We also have 2 other candidates that we're potentially going to make conditional offers to for the November start date, assuming that they complete all of their background and testing phases. One big news that we have since the last meeting is we have a new deputy director, Ms. Amy Simpson. Amy has 18 years of experience serving citizens of Sumner County. She comes from Hendersonville, and then she's been with the ECC since we opened, and she's been serving as our ops manager for the last several years. We are putting out to replace her position this week, and we have also put out to get a support services manager as well, who will oversee all of our training, our quality assurance, public education, as well as our CAD administrator. So they will be taking on a lot of things, and I think we've got some good candidates for that thus far. The Eventide is working really well. We have some better capabilities as well as clear screen recordings, which will help us out with the quality assurance and investigations moving forward with any complaints. The EMD implementation has been delayed slightly due to some training problems. We've had some classes that had to be canceled, but they have been rescheduled, and we should have everybody completely trained and certified by the end of next week. And then beyond that, we've just got to get them trained on the Intellicom software so that they can utilize it to start taking EMD calls. And that's the update for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
No, something might happen. Maine put either $5,000, $10,000 on the new trainees to make, if they stay there 5 years, they get their bonus. Otherwise, they lose it. It might get the candidate to think about something like that. Keep the turnover down. Help them out, because like I say, it's constant turnover. As soon as you get them trained, they're gonna go to Metro because they get that extra money. But if you put a sign on there, you gotta stay 5 years, at least we get 5 years out of them before they left. So something might be considered.
Yeah.
I can say that our turnover this year so far has been around 19%, which is down from 45 to 55% last year.
That's great.
And our retention rate for our new trainees that we've hired this year has been around 85%. So we're starting to maintain more people. We're just starting to move some people up, and some of the people that weren't gonna make it through training that were previously hired are no longer with us. We are seeing people come in, but we are seeing that turnover rate go down.
Well, that might be something we could think about if it becomes a big problem again.
Fingers crossed, is at the current rate with our turnover, we're expecting to be fully staffed by April,
Good.
as long as we keep our turnover down.
Yeah, yeah.
All right?
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Ms. Simpson, congratulations on your new position. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, to follow up on what, something for the ECC. I forgot to mention this in my report. They are looking at adding a few cameras to the floor area of the ECC. So they got some bids back. They had somebody come in on Friday. They got the bids back today. They're around between $33,000 and $42,000. So just to keep that, I want to keep that on your radar. We want to do a little more discussion on that and see if there's going to be any cost sharing as far as that goes, but we may bring that back to the meeting next month. But I just want to put that on your radar. So.
Okay.
And these cameras are for liability reducing purposes, just some extra protection there for the floor and for the staff and for the employees. Anything you
Yes.
want to add to that?
No,
Okay.
that says it perfectly.
Okay. So say it one more time. That says it
It's
perfectly.
perfect.
Just want to hear that. Thank you.
It's
Get that for the record.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Thank you, sir.
Put that in notes.
All right, we don't have any old business, so let's move on to the new business.
All right, so Miss Carolyn now will no longer be our bookkeeper, but she'll be our treasurer. So we need to appoint a bookkeeper or look at doing that. Miss Carolyn, do you have a recommendation on
I
a
do,
bookkeeper?
Jennifer Mitchell, who is in our office, so that we would work together.
I'll second.
All right,
That's great.
Jennifer Mitchell
Need a motion.
to appoint Ms.
That's right.
Thank you, buddy. Second?
John.
Thank you, John. All right, any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? All right.
So, Mr. Chairman, just to go along with that, so currently, I think Miss Carolyn, her salary or her stipend for this was $368 per month, correct? Adding a 4% to that, which is consistent with what the county employees receive, would take it up to $382. And we did the math, so for the remainder of the year, that would still put us about $280 under budget for what we have appropriated in that line item. So I suppose we probably need a motion.
Probably need
also,
a
if
motion
you
for that.
so
How
choose
much
to.
was that amount again, Mike?
$382 per month.
Okay, all right.
For the stipend.
Thank you, Archie. Second? Thank you, Alan. All in favor? All opposed? All right.
Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
Mike, Central Square.
Central Square, all right. So we received a phone call last Thursday, had a conference call with some folks from Central Square that our classic records management system that they provide to law enforcement agencies is not CJIS compliant, Criminal Justice Information System. The TBI takes that pretty seriously as far as wanting everybody to be compliant with the CJIS standards. And I could go through a bunch of boring details about this, but essentially they want law enforcement agencies to move from the classic version over to the web version. The web version is CJIS compliant. We have talked about it today, and I think that Ms. Simpson has also spoken with the liaison at TBI who handles this sort of thing. And we haven't had a chance to talk to see what their reaction is, but mainly this is going to affect law enforcement agencies. Hendersonville, the Sheriff's Office, Gallatin, Portland, Westmoreland, if they get on the system. But we do have some of that information, and some of that information could be on our servers in CAD and through Classic. So, Amy, do you, without objection,
No,
Mr. Chairman,
go ahead.
what did you find out from TBI today?
They actually have not responded.
Oh, sorry, I thought they.
No, that's fine. Do we need to let them know?
So we did have a conversation with Jeff Wright from Hendersonville today, and some things that were brought up were that when it comes from our CAD system, it goes into the web. Web, of course, is CJIS secure. The problem is when it gets transferred to the Classic for them to do the reporting. However, from our discussions, it appears that the actual CJIS information itself is not being transferred. Only the information that even before it was able to be transferred, would be entered by the law enforcement officers by themselves. So it's no extra information that they wouldn't be able to put in themselves. So it appears it will be secure in addition to up until the web is secure, but then their specific information is secure within their networks. Only if there was a breach into their networks would there be a problem with their CJIS information being taken out.
So what you think from talking to Jeff is that the information that we have at the ECC
Should be
through
secure.
Classic is not CJIS compromised?
Correct. That's
Okay.
the general consensus from our conversations, and we haven't heard back from TBI to get their take on the information yet. But again, we aren't the only agency in the state that's this way. Everybody that has Central Square, except for one agency that is, all of their agencies are currently on web, are having the same concerns.
I talked to Murfreesboro on Friday. They're still using the Classic version. So you're right, there are other agencies within the state that would be in the same boat. But we heard that on Thursday that this could impact our CJIS compliance, then certainly want to bring that to your attention and just let you know what's going on there. So anything else on that?
Now, we have our audit coming up in 2 weeks, on the 28th. So hopefully we'll have a little more information before then, because they'll be contacting us about the audit as well. I think the sheriff's office is also about to go under audit, which would have the same concerns.
Okay. So, nothing to do right now, just heads up that we got that notification. And that's it.
All right. All right, executive session.
That was just left on there.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
think that we need to enter any executive session or anything.
All right. Anybody have anything else? Mr. Driver?
Motion adjourned.
Thank you.